Step parenting doesn't come with a manual. So naturally, when I became a stepmom, I made a couple of mistakes here and there. And I'll be sharing this with you in a moment. So hit the subscribe button and let's get to it. One of the mistakes I made as a newbie stepmom was to have unrealistic expectations. I thought that simply because I loved my husband, that his kids would love me back, that I would love his kids, that we would be one big happy family, and that step family life was going to be a breeze. This was not the case. It took a very long time for me and the kids to get to know each other, to form that relationship and bond, to build that relationship to what it is right now. And it wasn't easy. I faced so many challenges, and it was like everything that normal families go through in a step family or in a blended family situation. It's like that on steroids. So think of it as finances, how you handle finances just normally between a husband and a wife is exponentially increased when you're in a blended family, because there's so many other factors that come into play. There's another family that needs to be taken care of, and so all these things were not made known to me when I was getting into this relationship. And so when they surfaced and creeped up in the relationship, I found it very difficult to move past them. So my advice to you is take your time, get to know a little more about blended families, lower your expectations. It's not going to be easy. It's going to definitely have its own challenges, but if you press on, it's definitely a rewarding experience. The other mistake was assuming the parenting role immediately. And what I learned is you actually need to have that authority, or to gain that authority, in order for you to be able to parent your children. And so it was very difficult for me at first, because there were things that I noticed that were against my upbringing that I wanted to voice my opinions about, but it was not the proper time and not the proper way to do it. So what I would advise you, if there's anything that you probably don't like about your partner's children, you don't like the way he handles certain situations with the kids when it comes to discipline, my advice would be stay away from it. Don't take that active discipline parenting role. Take a step back, get to know the kids, get to earn your stripes, and from there, once you have built the relationship, then they're able to see you as an authority and can take whatever advice that you give them positively in order to change their behavior or model their behavior in a certain direction. The other thing that I really struggled with was taking things personally, and especially when it looked like the kids were picking their biological mother over me. If you saw my previous video about the things that you don't know about me, is that I have a very tough exterior, but I'm really a very sensitive person. And so sometimes kids would naturally gravitate towards their mother, or some ideas that their mother has, or activities with their mother, and not with me. And so sometimes that would really get to me and affect me and like change my mood, and I would get angry and I would be like, why the hell am I doing this anyway? And I would feel like giving up. But over time I realized that it's only natural for them to want to be with their biological parent. It's only natural for them to want to spend time with them over me. And so over time I just got used to it. I stopped pushing for sort of my own agenda in terms of getting to spend time with the kids, and I just let it go and I let it be. And funny enough, when I did that, the opposite started to happen. It's like they wanted to spend more time with me, and we would have activities together and all that. So don't take it personally when your kids do things with their biological parents that probably maybe you've positioned and they're not willing to do it with you, or whenever, you suggest something, they just, brush it off and do something else. Don't take that personally. It's not meant to hurt you. They don't do it intentionally. It's just they naturally gravitate towards their biological parent. So just take it easy, take a step back, and, be happy with being sort of background action. The other mistake I made was not being vulnerable enough with the people who loved me and the people who wanted me to succeed in my new family. And a lot of it also was being vulnerable with my partner. I felt like if I voiced anything negative about my feelings, about my actions towards him, towards the kids, then it would be misconstrued as I do not want to be in the relationship, I do not love the kids. It would be taken as a negative. And in fact, this was quite the opposite, actually. The more vulnerable that I became, the more supportive my partner was, the more supportive my friends were. People who have shared the journey with me would understand and, just sort of encourage me and push me, in the right direction. If I was feeling down, then, a night out with my girls or a meet with a friend my spirits would just pick up and I'd be refreshed and go back and start all over again. So take your time, make sure you voice your feelings and your emotions to someone who understands the journey, who understands where you're coming from. It will make the journey a lot simpler if you can accept that, yes, it is challenging, and now take the steps towards making things right. Another thing that when I look back, I'm like, I really shouldn't have done that, is trying to fix things. It's only natural that you will come into this setting. It's basically not the normal kind of family setting that you're accustomed to or that you know. One parent is living in a separate house, another one in a separate home. It's just not the ideal dynamic for a family. And so you'll find yourself, or rather I found myself, struggling to make things right, struggling to fix things. And I later came to learn that and I read this in a book somewhere, that you can't fix what you didn't break. It's not your fault that you've come into this family where the couple was separated and now you're coming in as an additional or extra parent, so to speak. It's not your fault that any of that happened, and so it's not your obligation to fix it. Just take things as they come. Extend a lot of love and grace towards your family members, and eventually you will see that the relationship sort of mends itself and everyone gets comfortable in their role, as opposed to you trying to fix everything that is wrong with the family. Some things can definitely not be fixed, and it would be good if you're able to pick those out and just let those be and focus on the things that you can change, and basically just extending yourself and extending your love to your new family. And that is the only way that you would also be able to receive love from your new family. I'm pretty sure my mistakes are not unique to me, so I would definitely love to hear what mistakes you've made in your stepmom journey. So make sure you leave your comments down below, subscribe to our channel, and like us on Facebook. That is Living in Step Africa. And I hope to see you next time.